Blood-curdling facts you did not want to know. Up until 1974, it was illegal to appear in the streets of Chicago if you were ugly. The best way to torture someone and make it as painful as possible is to steam them alive. It takes longer to destroy their nerves, the sensation is hotter than boiling water, and your organs are cooked from the inside out. Kagura syndrome is a mental delusion where you believe that the people around you have been replaced by imposters. The movie The Hills Have Eyes is based on a Scottish group from the 16th century called the Bean Clan. And over the course of 25 years, they killed and ate over 1,000 people. Brains taste like ice cream. If you live in a major city, there is currently a nuclear weapon pointed at you as you're watching this video.
This is a tragic story of how this boxer went from this to this. Back in 2015, 23-year-old Prichard Colón and Terrell Williams competed at the Eagle Bank Arena in Virginia. At this point, Prichard had only been pro for 2 years until this fight, which would be the last time he entered the ring, leaving him in a vegetative state. From the very beginning of the fight, Prichard complained to the referee that Terrell kept hitting him with rabbit punches. And if you don't know what that is, they're punches to the back of the head or neck that are extremely dangerous and can cause brain or spinal cord injury. These punches are illegal, and usually the fighter would be disqualified if it happened in a fight. Prichard also mentioned to the ringside physician that he felt dizzy, but he can still go on, so the match continued. But on this night, after multiple rounds and blows to the head, when Prichard went into his dressing room, he began throwing up. He eventually passed out and was rushed to the hospital, where he underwent surgery for internal bleeding in his brain, and then he went into a coma for 221 days. When Prichard woke up, he was in a vegetative state, and his mother and father have been taking care of him ever since. The blame has not only been put on Terrell for throwing illegal punches, but the referee and the physician who sat ringside were also negligent for failing to take any required steps to either stop the fight or get Prichard some help. Prichard's family filed a $50 million lawsuit against the physician, but it's never been settled, and apparently he's not legally responsible for any of this. Prichard's parents were told by doctors that he would never get better because of the damage that was done, but if you see some progress videos that have been posted online, it's clear that Prichard has gotten better, and I hope that one day he can be close to what he used to be.
Whatever picture you see first reveals what kind of person you are. Up first is this picture. If you see 2 cats in this photo, it means you are very independent and self-sufficient. And no matter what happens in your life, you will always succeed. But if you saw a dog, then you are very loving and caring, and family is everything to you. Also, you love dogs. Next up is this picture. If you see a fox, then you are a very trustworthy person and have a lot of friends. But if you saw a dolphin, then you are very kind and do everything to avoid confrontation and arguments in general. Also, people always come to you for advice.
Videos that seem innocent but have a terrifying backstory. Part 9.
In 2015, married couple David and Louise Turpin traveled to Las Vegas to renew their wedding vows with an Elvis impersonator. The couple appears to be cheerful, having a very happy family with many children. But 3 years after this video was taken, one of the daughters managed to escape the home and go to the authorities. As it turns out, all 13 children had been locked up in the house, abused, and malnourished. In one of his final live streams, popular Twitch streamer Byron Bernstein, better known by his Twitch name Wreckful, joked about suicide and even mentioned testing out to see if he could survive a fall from his balcony. A month after the stream aired, Byron took his own life by jumping from that very same balcony. In 2014, adventure YouTuber Snakebit McGee uploaded a video entitled MK Pike.
I'm looking for a cave that I found. Something about that cave just spooked me. This one just made my body vibrate.
He has since gone missing and to this day has never been found.
If you're thinking about ignoring your gut instinct, don't. Here are 3 reasons why you should trust it. Anonymous said that he used to pick up hitchhikers in the 80s and early 90s. He said that he was into Jesus and wanted to do good deeds. One day he saw 2 women that looked rough hitchhiking on the side of I-295 in Jacksonville, Florida. Based on their appearance, he said that he thought that they were leaving an abusive situation or something. He pulled over to pick them up. As they walked up to his van, he said that they exchanged creepy looks. It was a sort of "are we gonna do this" expression. He got bad vibes and drove off right as they were reaching for his door. He said that he felt bad later and beat himself up for it. What if they really needed help, he asked himself. A few days later, he saw sketches of them on the news. It was Eileen Wuornos, the serial killer from the movie Monster, and her girlfriend. The guy who picked them up after Anonymous drove off was murdered and dumped in a swamp. Ashley said that every time one of her students showed up to class, she got an overwhelmingly bad feeling. So much so that she refused to be alone on the nights that he had her class. Security thought that Ashley was insane when she would ask them to walk her out to her car every night. The following semester, that student was arrested and convicted for murdering his girlfriend. He was sentenced to life. BuzzFeed user Moss1987 said that she was pregnant with her now daughter and was getting into the left turning lane in her car. Another car abruptly cut her off in the front. Normally, she said that she would have been a little bit more aggressive, but she got this feeling that she should just let it go. They were at the red light, and a car turning left in the opposite direction slammed into the car in front of her that cut her off. It could have been the car that her and her unborn baby were in.
According to reporting today, Donald Trump's name appears in the unredacted Epstein files more than 1 million times. Yes, you heard that right. His name appears more than 1,000,000 times. Now, this statement comes from Democrat Jamie Raskin, who recently viewed the unredacted Epstein files. And Jamie has publicly stated now that Trump's name appears, like I said, more than 1 million times in the unredacted files. Now, we already know that Trump's name has appeared 10, 20, 30,000 times in the Epstein files that we have seen. And we've also seen that they have been redacting some very curious things, like, for example, the word "don't" without the apostrophe, which some have interpreted as being an attempt to redact Don T, or Donald Trump. Now, we're going to be seeing a lot about the Epstein files coming out in the next few days. I'm going to be staying on top of this for all of y'all. You know I've been on this since day one. And it is crazy. The co-conspirators that are officially being confirmed, the calls for justice from the halls of Congress. I mean, this thing is blowing up to a proportion that I didn't think it could possibly even blow up to. So just get ready.
We only have 16 days left until Donald Trump and social media can retire you, so pay attention. Save this video right now just in case it gets taken down. You probably bought stuff from TikTok and Instagram before, right? Millions of people do every day. Billions of dollars move through these platforms. But nobody ever asks, where does that money actually sit? Because if it's just sitting in cash, it's being eaten alive by inflation. So I did some digging and found this article. Reserve currency of social commerce on May 1st at an upcoming RWA summit, which will digitalize all social media transactions under the ticker RCSC. So obviously I checked BlackRock's portfolio and found RCSC. And then I checked it out on Desk Screener, and there it is sitting at 2 million market cap. Obviously it has not been announced yet, so we're early. Last year, 1.6 trillion for social media commerce was over 1.6 trillion. If even 1% of that gets tokenized, we could see RCSC go parabolic. I think this could be a generational play, so I'm putting in a big bag. If you want to check out this token, comment RCSC down below, and I'll send you the contract address, or I'll have it pinned. This is not financial advice. This is just a token I'm looking at and doing research on and promoting to you guys. Always do your own research, because crypto is speculative and a risk. And let's see what happens.
This is a scary story about the mistake. A girl named Kelly was on a business trip for 3 days. She was so excited to see her kid and her husband. But when she got home, the only one that was waiting for her was her kid. Kelly then said, "Where's daddy?" And the kid said, "Upstairs with the girl." Kelly immediately got a pit in her stomach. She walked up the stairs slowly and opened their bedroom door. Her husband was in there with another woman. Kelly started to scream and cry, and her husband tried to explain himself, but she wasn't listening at all. In a pit of rage, Kelly went downstairs and grabbed a knife from the kitchen. She then went back into the room and stabbed her husband countless times. The other woman in the room was shocked and lost for words. Kelly then pointed the knife at her and said, "You're next." But then the woman said, "Wait, he wasn't cheating on you. He thought you weren't going to be home till tomorrow? I'm a party planner, and he hired me to set up a party for you." She then showed Kelly the idea her husband had. Kelly then dropped the knife, and she couldn't believe what she just did. She then went downstairs, grabbed her kid, and left. Nobody saw Kelly or her kid again.
The biggest civil war between chimpanzees ever is happening right now. So in Uganda, there's the world's largest group of wild chimpanzees. Now these chimps had been living together in harmony until recently. They used to do things like hold hands with each other, but now they're actively trying to end each other and nobody really knows why. Now there are two groups of these chimps known as the Western group and the Central group. And until about 2015, these groups got along until things started to, change. Around this time, there was a big incident and the groups that used to interact with each other a lot started to just stick with their own groups and interact with each other less and less. Then following incidents after this just became a little more intense and aggressive. Then in around 2018, members of the Western group started actively attacking the Central group of chimpanzees. Since then, there have been 24 targeted attacks and at least 7 adult males and 24 infants from the Central group have passed away during these attacks. But researchers believe that those numbers are actually higher. Now, as to why exactly this is happening, researchers do have some theories. All the way back in 2014, for some unknown reason, 5 adult males and 1 female were ended, and researchers believe that may have caused some unrest between the groups. There was also a respiratory epidemic in 2017 among the two groups. 25 chimps passed from this epidemic, and one of the adult males that passed during this epidemic was apparently one of the last adult males that kept the two groups in harmony with each other.
This is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. This is demon face syndrome, a brand new neurological disease that's been found where people see others as demons. I know what you're thinking, Chris, you're completely out of your mind, but look, to the left you have a normal person, and then to the right you have what some people see. Now, the craziest thing is that in the whole entire world, and forever, there's only been 75 cases. Now all of a sudden this is all over the news. And as I said, it's said to be a neurological disease that happens when staring at people for too long. All of a sudden get extremely elongated ears, their face more or less contorts, and they get an extremely deep, sinister smile, which is making me feel like these people aren't even real people at all. This is more or less some kind of uncanny valley type thing, which if you guys don't know what the uncanny valley is, it's more or less where you make something that makes people look like people, but they're not actually people at all. And as I said, the craziest thing is this is all over the news, yet only 75 cases have ever been reported. It's currently being studied at Dartmouth. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Chris, this only happens sometimes. From what I've read and what I've seen, people who have this syndrome see people like this all of the time. There's been multiple people who have came out and said that this is what they see all the time. This is what they view people as. Now I'm gonna be honest, is this a soft launch for aliens or some kind of demonic beings being released to the public? I don't know. But I can't help but think, how are 75 people affected, yet this is major national news? Kinda weird.
Some of you have seen this video of an ex-football player catching a baby out of a burning building. This ex-football player was named Philip Blanks. Articles everywhere was mentioning him and naming him a hero. But nobody was mentioning or acknowledging who was throwing the babies out of the fire. It was 30-year-old Rachel Long, who while on fire dropped her son off the balcony to save him. While on fire, she even went back in the fire to save her daughter. Sadly, she passed away, but since news articles wouldn't do it, I'm here to acknowledge that she was a hero. Children Raised by Animals Part 1. Ramachandra. This boy was 12 years old and found by the Kawano River living an amphibious lifestyle. Villagers was convinced that he was living among the lizards and amphibians around the river. What's crazy is he walked on all 4 legs. And his arms started to fuse together kinda like an amphibian. For example, like a newt paw. Or even the legs of a turtle. It's crazy how the human body evolves. He was captured and taken by a near village, but he didn't like it. He didn't adapt well. He liked raw food and staying by the river. Sadly, he passed away when a woman got scared and saw him crawling near her and decided to throw boiling water on him. Rest in peace. Give this video a like for part 2.
Fun fact, the legacy of Barry B. Benson has been carried on in Peru, where the native stingless bees have been granted legal rights, meaning they can hire lawyers and sue companies that threaten their existence. The Peruvian stingless bee is one of the oldest bee species in the world and an essential pollinator for the jungle's delicate ecosystem. But in recent years, deforestation and pesticides used in farming have been killing the bees. So 2 Peruvian states passed laws that gives the bees legal standing and guarantees them much more rights than just being endangered. When a species is endangered, preservation preservation is looked at through the lens of how much of the species' habitat can we destroy before it goes extinct, and then leaving it just enough room not to die. But giving the bees legal standing means they're guaranteed the legal right to thrive and flourish, and it also means local residents or NGOs can file lawsuits on behalf of the bees if a company is threatening their habitat. And if a company is found to be hurting the bees, they'll have to rebuild what they destroyed, essentially paying the bees back for the harm done to them.
You are a slave. Let me explain why. We are being controlled in this world. Everything we do, every move we make is remotely controlled by these people. Every human is born with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is known as the third eye or the sixth sense. It enhances your spiritual senses. It makes you analyze information faster. It makes you take the right decisions. It makes you sleep better, and much more. These people don't want your pineal gland to be activated because you become smarter and stronger. They deactivate your pineal gland using fluoride. They add fluoride in everyday necessities we consume. Drinking water has fluoride, and it's been proven that fluoride is cancerous. What is the first thing you do in the morning? Brush your teeth. Toothpaste contains fluoride. We are constantly shutting down this gland. Without this gland, we are more prone to weakness, staying up late, depression, and anger. Good news though, fluoride-free products exist.
This man was charged with 39 counts of manslaughter after a failed attempt to transport the illegal immigrants out of the UK. The lorry was soon stopped by police in Essex when they pronounced all 39 of the immigrants dead. Amongst the 39 dead there were 29 men, 8 women and 2 teenage boys who all died to a lack of oxygen in the lorry trailer. The man was given a lifetime sentence behind bars after he pleaded guilty. And don't forget to click the link in my bio to add my Snapchat. There is a new photo that has been released that Gabby Petito took. It's a selfie, and it's believed it was taken just hours, very, very short before the famous Macabre stop where Brian Laundrie was reported for a domestic dispute to 911. I'll warn you before I show the photo that it is disturbing, and it does depict all of the marks that were left on her face from Brian. This was the photo that was released from her phone, as well as additional footage which showed her shopping possibly hours before Brian took her life. I really never covered the Petito case at the time because there was so much saturation and so much noise around this that I felt there were a lot of cases that were sort of falling off the map, so I really focused on those around this time. Sharing this photo and this footage, it's important to do so now because it highlights what was neglected to be observed at the time by police. It's a closer depiction to what actually happened to her and what she was experiencing. I share it to give color and closure to a story, but also to remind us that if you see something, report it. And if you have a bad feeling, trust it. This is what happens when you die. First, all your muscles would relax. This means your sphincter will as well. So that big Sunday lunch you just ate, yeah, it's all coming out. The gas in your system may leak out and so will your pee. And sometimes men might even ejaculate. And women may even give birth if already pregnant. This is also known as coffin birth. And as your body gets rid of what's trapped inside, noises may be emitted from your mouth as air escapes. After that, blood will flow to a certain part of your body which is also known as liver mortis. This is also the cause of dark purple coloration to the skin after death. With no blood flowing through your body, you will start to cool down. This is also known as death chill. Then within at least 2 hours, your body will become stiff. Then within 24 hours to 3 days, your corpse will start to rot and smell.